Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 9, Understanding Your Sexuality. First, some definitions. Gender is really an awareness or feeling about your body, commonly whether you feel male or female or gender neutral. Next up, intimacy. This is the ability to have a positive and close relationship with another human being. Sexual identity, the recognition and acknowledgement of yourself as a sexual being, and where you feel your sexual identity lies within the spectrum of different types of sexual expression. Sexual health and sexual reproduction are really about attitudes and behaviors that are related to sex. And perhaps the health consequences of those behaviors. And sexualization is really the use of sex or sexuality to influence or manipulate others. And this sexualization is oftentimes harmful and influenced by social norms that you might not fit with. So what about your sexual identity? It's much more than your biology. Sexual identity is determined by the interaction of your genetics and your physiology with the environment and social factors. In terms of biology, we all know about the X chromosome in the egg and the sperm carrying either an X or a Y chromosome, leading to a fertilized egg with either an XX set of chromosomes or an XY chromosomes. There are other combinations that are possible. There are combinations such as XXY and X0 with a missing X chromosome that can occur. These will affect sexual identity biologically. Beyond that, there are other sexual identities that occur. There is intersex conditions. Sometimes these conditions are where people are born with sexual anatomy that's both male and female, or neither male nor female. These can affect sexual development. Typically, genetically speaking, female anatomy is the more common anatomy. The reproductive organs are called the gonads, testes in males and ovaries in females. Puberty is the time of sexual maturation, where the pituitary gland and endocrine glands release hormones that alter the sex organs and give people male or female appearance. The secondary sexual characteristics are those appearances that are affected during puberty. In males, it's common to have changes in voice, vocal pitch, changes in body hair, and certainly fat deposits can be altered during puberty. Gender, however, is a set of choices, a set of actions. A person can choose to be either female, male, or asexual. It's really entirely up to you. Although there are social pressures which can influence people's choices. So let's delve a little further into sexual identity. Socialization is a process by which society communicates behavioral expectations to its members. Those expectations might not fit with your gender expression. There are social norms for expression of maleness and femaleness in everyday life. Again, those may not fit with your gender expression and the gender role that you want. Gender role stereotypes are very, very common. There are a huge number of stereotypes in how men and women are expected to behave. Again, those are choices that might not fit for you, and certainly knowing yourself is really important here. I do want you to be aware of stereotype threat. This is where parents, teachers, other students expect particular behaviors because of how a person looks or because of how a person is perceived. These generalizations, these are social generalizations, these are stereotypes. These are not something that you need to conform with. They're entirely artificial, but nevertheless you need to be aware of them because they are very strong influences on people. But one of the models that's commonly used for sexual orientation is the following, with these three domains. Firstly, there's your identity. How do you consider yourself? Do you consider yourself gay? Do you consider yourself lesbian, bisexual, straight, queer, or something entirely different? That's your identity. That's something that you feel that you own. Also, alongside of that are the genders that you're attracted to. And that can be different and is often different from person to person. Some people are attracted to one gender or the other gender or both genders, or neither. And finally, there's your behaviors. That's how you choose to behave. Do you choose to have sex with men, sex with women, sex with both, sex with neither? Again, these are all choices and dimensions of sexual orientation, and you can be anywhere within the spectrum of identity, behavior, and sexual attraction, and that can change throughout life. It's not static. It doesn't need to be. It can definitely alter as life unfolds, and you become to identify or know yourself better, or in different ways, or indeed you meet somebody that's different. Transgendered is a term that means that your gender identity does not match your biological sex. There's a lot of controversy and particularly right-wing political commentary about transgendered individuals. Please be aware that transgendered individuals suffer a great deal from both stereotype, threat, and actual abuse throughout their lives. Please be kind to people who are expressing themselves as transgendered. Androgyny is another difficult place for people to be in, with high levels of both masculine and feminine traits in a single person. There again, please be kind to people who have androgynous traits. That's their choice. Another interesting biological situation is people who are intersex. Intersex individuals are born with differing levels of male or female biological characteristics. Sometimes that can be chromosomal. Sometimes that can be partial expression of male or female secondary characteristics. One example of a person who is intersex is Caster Semenya. She's a South African middle distance runner who for many years won all of the 800-meter races. Unfortunately, and that's her natural biology is to express a number of male characteristics. Unfortunately, the Olympic committees decided that she would not be able to race and have put in place rules that make it impossible for her to race. It seems to me unfortunate because she's naturally this way. Perhaps it's no different than if somebody had a large set of lungs or a heart. She's a natural sports person. She's not in any way doping or enhanced. She just, biologically speaking, is of intersex. Unfortunately, sexual prejudice is very common in the United States. This is a graphic from the Justice Department, and looking at different forms of hate crime. Race and ethnicity, of course, makes up the bulk of hate crimes in the United States. Unfortunately, hate crimes directed towards different sexual orientations make up around 20% of all hate crimes in the United States. So do be aware that prejudice and negative attitudes towards different sexual orientations has real consequences and causes real harm